Hey, Flimsy Lunch Tray, and welcome to World of Warships for our Monday edition video. And today's battle is going to be featuring the Tier 10 Pan-Asian destroyer, the Yueyang, and we're going to have an insane carry this match here in Airship Escort. And this is a ship that I do want to highlight and say it's actually really good for Airship Escort, primarily because of the deep water torpedoes that Yueyang has that hit like a truck. Meaning you cannot torpedo destroyers, of course, but you can torpedo cruisers, battleships, and aircraft carriers. And in a brawling match where a lot of brawling battle type, we're going to have a lot of players taking these brawling battleships and cruisers that push in, means that we can make really good use of Yueyang's torpedoes. Now the Yueyang torpedoes, Yueyang and the Pan-Asian DDs went through a buff not too long ago, because this line wasn't getting really any attention or loved on, and that was the torpedo reload booster. You only get 2 of them, and I think they have a 300-second cooldown time, so you have to wait a long time for them to, the torpedo reload booster consumable to come off cooldown, but it's definitely worth it if you can make really good use of it. So we're here on Shatter, and one of the things I love, especially when you can take a destroyer like Yueyang, is when you can really work the flank. Sometimes there'll be teams that just don't protect the end points, you know, where your airship and the enemy team airship is supposed to go. They don't really protect it. Here we actually have the enemy team is actually going to do a good job protecting the end zone for the most part. But we go ahead and we throw these 10 torpedoes into the water. You get 2 racks of 5, and then we go ahead and use our torpedo reload booster, and we pop some more into the water because that Bourgogne's moving over. The Ohio's kind of slowing down at an angle. So I'm hoping to torpedo 1, maybe get lucky with both of them. And then we get to push in. So we have 20 torpedoes, and so you can see it's a 5-minute cooldown time. And we have a reload time of our torpedoes just over 1.5 minutes. So not too bad. So we're going to keep moving over here, and that's when we catch the Shimakaze. So we're going to switch to our guns. Now, the Yueyang is similar to the gearing. Granted, your reload time is better on the gearing than it is on the Yueyang, but you do have a slightly better range overall than you do on the gearing. The Yueyang, was formerly a destroyer of the Allen M. Sumner class, USS Hainsworth DD-700, and she was transferred to the Republic of China, Taiwan in 1970, being a development from the very successful Fletcher class. So the Yueyang is just all around really good destroyer. You can also take the radar consumable. You can switch up between smoke or radar, 7.5 kilometer radar. But I find most success with this smoke screen, the Pan-Asian smoke screen. It's not known for having a very long duration time, but the action time of being able to draw your smoke screen out is really good, close to 30 seconds if I'm not mistaken, but maybe like 1.5 minutes on your smoke screen overall. Now, I'm so caught up in telling you some details about the ship. We actually landed 3 torpedoes, and every one of those torpedoes caused flooding. These torpedoes do have a good flood chance because the deep water torpedoes works out really well. So here, most likely, both battleships, of course, have DCP'd the flood, as the Bourgogne's getting a little fed up with me there, farming in smoke, is that we can now work on setting fires. So you can see we're currently taking fire damage as we use our engine boost to get out of the way of these Shimakaze torpedoes. But we can farm some more damage with the fires. And Napoli takes some torpedoes. Bourgogne is going to take 3. So now we're already up to 7 torpedoes and 1 battleship down. So it's a bit of a traffic jam there, which we were able to take full advantage of. So that worked out really well for our benefit. So that Napoli is not going to be hurting as we get complimented in chat. But now we're paying attention to this Yamato who's pushing up here. And in this situation, this is working really nicely. I had to be mindful, of course, of the Shimakaze. You've already seen we've been dodging torpedoes. We have 500,000 potential damage. But now I want to pay attention to the Yamato because I don't want him to push up and get too far comfortably ahead. So that's how you can see I'm just sitting here. I'm taking my time. I'm not too concerned about the Shimakaze, even though he does slightly outspot me. Now, I have 5.8 kilometers concealment on Yueyang. I've gone for the concealed build. And according to the WoW's wiki, I'm not sure if this still stands true or not, it has the second best concealment in the game. So that's actually rather nice to be able to draw in close and get these torpedoes off successfully. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to close the distance in on this Yamato, and I'm holding on to my torpedoes. I'm really trying to figure out what he's going to do. Is he just going to keep nosing in towards the island? Is he going to use the island for cover, or is he going to turn out? And the way he's looking, I'm pretty sure he's going to either nose into the island, or he's going to maybe try to come around on the side here. So we've given ourselves over a 1.2 kilometer window to not be detected. So we're going to disengage. Now these torpedoes, since they're deep water torpedoes, have a really good detection range, or what I want to say. They're very hard to spot. That's what I'm really trying to say. And some massive damage there. That already puts us up to 190,000 damage with hitting torps on the Yamato. But these torpedoes have good concealment. They're very hard to spot till it's too late. And now the Pomeran's moving up more. He has 30,000 health, but I'm really concerned about his positioning. So I go ahead and I drop my smoke here. Now I wanted to go ahead and cut across his bow, but because of the Shimakaze torpedoes coming in, that's going to not work out so great. And I need to get to the window with a larger gap. The Napoli's pushing in, so I don't want to accelerate too quickly because then I'll just end up going outside my smoke screen. And the Pomeran is taking a punishment. So things are not looking good for me right now. So I go ahead and pop the torpedo reload booster because I'm concerned of the Napoli charging me here into the smoke screen. So if you do have that torpedo reload booster handy, it does help you in situations like that where it can be very questionable. So now we're just going to try to focus on reversing. We're going to be shooting and getting some fire set here on the Yamato. So we've got one ticking right now. And then I'm reversing up back further because I'm concerned of Napoli dumping some torpedoes as we get the kill there on the Yamato, being our second kill. So we're going to just keep reversing back a bit. Trying to be mindful. Okay, so Napoli is disengaged. That was very good information for us to know as he just got spotted there. So now I decide, let's go ahead and push back forward. But, gotta be careful. Napoli torpedoes, but they're pretty large gap there in the torpedo spread. So now the goal is Ohio's moving up because of the Napoli. So my intention here is I'm not really sure what the Napoli's up to in his smoke screen. I know he's disengaging. He's probably turning around to head further back towards his Ohio partner because safety in numbers. But these torpedoes I'm launching are entirely meant for the Ohio, and if we get lucky, perhaps Napoli comes across our course. Now the Shimakaze hasn't been spotted for quite some time, so it's likely he's just departed his flank and said I'm not going to deal with it, and he's moved on to greener pastures, to say. So this Napoli unfortunately is going to be caught out by our torpedoes, so there's really just nothing he's going to be able to do here, as he's definitely going to go down there, and that puts us up to 218,000 damage. So we are really having to work to secure the end zone. So that's one of the reasons why I like Yueyang and Airship Escort when you have all these brawling battleships and decent guns. I mean, they're not fantastic, they're not terrible, but they're decent to be able to help protect the end zone, because between your engine boost to be able to help you avoid some torpedoes, maybe if you need to accelerate quickly out of the way, you're doing some juking, and those good Pan-Asian American smoke screens you get. And then the torpedo reload booster, it really helps you to become quite the formidable opponent in proper hands. And I was actually looking, and I've never featured the Yueyang until today on the channel, so I'm going to change that if I put it up for a vote for an upgrading commander build video. So now the goal is we need to get rid of this Ohio. He's pushing in. He's stepped onto our airship, which means he's going to slow down. As you can see, the enemy airships is going now 30 knots versus our 6 knots. So this is not good. We've lost our Holland. We also lost 2 other teammates. So we really need to be able to try to kill this Ohio, and then I can step onto the enemy airship. So because in a minute and 27, they are going to win. So it looks like our first rack of torpedoes is looking better than the second. Looks like 3 torpedoes will be enough. No, not quite enough. So that puts us over 250,000 damage with now 17 torpedo hits. As person in all caps is yelling at me to get into the cap. Well, it's kind of hard to get into a cap when there's a Ohio sitting right there, as unfortunately I've lost some health in the early engagement. So I'm going to have to swing around here, and I'm going to pop the smoke screen and kite out at an angle away from the Ohio, because I need to be able to get over here. And unfortunately I am going to be spotted. The Ohio's probably going to get some secondaries off, probably even maybe get his main battery guns off. But we'll go ahead and got the smoke going, and our reload time on the torpedoes has been fairly decent. You can see we're just 15 seconds away from them coming back up as the Shimakaze is lit. So we look like we're going to keep going forward, but now I'm just going to simply reverse in the smoke screen. Pasted that Shimakaze has dumped torpedoes forward and ahead of me. So I was wanting to ask for intelligence data there, but it's our St. Vincent player who's coming. So the reversing was a good call. And we're waiting, he gets a little bit closer, and I'm going to go ahead and dump both racks of torpedoes here, because I want to ensure that this Ohio goes down. And we do get him with the first rack, so that puts up 19 torpedo hits and now 280,000 damage. And now if you look at the top, our airship will arrive in 3 minutes 27, enemies 258, but we have our St. Vincent player coming, and I'm also trying to reverse to get into our airship. And the St. Vincent takes out Shimakaze, which is great. He didn't have to worry about any torpedoes since that Shimakaze dumped all the torpedoes onto me in an effort to kill me. So that just worked out really well for us. And now, even though the enemy airship is further ahead, because of 6 knots versus 30 knots, our airship will now arrive in just over a minute, where theirs is going to take 2 minutes and 25 seconds at a 6-knot pace. So this is a really good fun battle. So basically everyone we fought, we killed, except the Shimakaze there at the end, and you'll see that in post-battle results. So it was just a really fun game. Myself and my clan commander have been really enjoying Yueyang in Airship Escort. And I think that's why you also see a lot of people take the Shimakazes, because it forces the enemy battleships, brawling cruisers, brawling battleships to draw in the distance. And thus get a lot more use out of their torpedoes versus trying to deal with players and battleships who might be sitting back on the BC or like the HI line. So when the brawl of Airship Escort makes the battleships and cruiser players come more towards you, you can be a very strong opponent for the enemy team to face in something like the Yueyang. So I definitely recommend Yueyang for Airship Escort, because she's just a really good destroyer overall. So it's going to take us post-battle results with almost 1 million credits, and I wasn't even taking a specific economic flag. I think this is the 40% one. But we get the photo finish, held at bay, and then also the other one, which is push ahead, hold them back. So some overall good achievements with over 281,000 damage, 19 torpedo hits, and 4 destroyed. With base XP of over 2,880, with our St. Vincent player, I'm doing well there at the end with the 1,700 base experience. So the Yamato was a good player in topping the enemy team. So we had our hands full that match. You see fires caused upon, the potential damage was over 1.1 million, all said and done. Over 100,000 damage on the Ohio alone. So he was able to get a lot of utility out of those quick cooldowns on his repair party. And of course, after cost, with the premium count, 766,000 credits is where we're going to end. So I think the buff that they did on the Pan-Asian for Yueyang a while back was really good, to be able to add those torpedo reload boost consumables, because it just really helps make the ship a little bit more viable, even more competitive, where it was kind of suffering and needed a little something. And so Wargaming gave it a little something in the form of those 2 torpedo reload boost consumables that have a 5-minute cooldown time. So in something like this game mode, you can really lay those torpedoes out everywhere, because most of our damage came from our torpedoes, and also setting some fires after some of the battleships had used their DCPs and the DCP on cooldown, so then we can get to farm the fire. So overall, really enjoyed this battle. It was really fun. So I hope you enjoyed watching it. I'll have to put the Yueyang in an upgrade commander build vote, as I like to try to do polls for the Friday highlight when I future a ship, and then follow it up with the upgrade commander build videos on Saturdays. So if you liked today's video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe if you do want to see more. If you subscribe, thanks so much. I would appreciate it. And we'll catch you next time. Take care.